Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on the Triad necklace, and that goes with the Triad bracelet. And I had to make the necklace because I just sort of really love this necklace for jeans and a t-shirt in the summer, or even a little black, tank dress or something. And so this is going to be sort of my go-to for the summer. I love that it's made with gemstones, nice and cool against the skin. If you use one of these decorative clasps, you can actually put this on the side. It doesn't have to just be in the back because it looks pretty around the neck with the clasp showing. So here's the bracelet for those of you who haven't seen it. I will link it below in the description box, and we'll just take a quick look at the necklace. So here we go. So here, if I just put the clasp up at the top, instead of a collar necklace, mine's about 17.5 inches, so, around there, I think, with the clasp. I wouldn't make it super duper long because it's a heavy necklace, so you want to just have it fit like right above, like right below the neckline, so a little bit lower, than the neckline, and it's perfect. All right, so I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we're going to get started making this necklace. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So I'm going to make a necklace to go with this bracelet. So you'll need some 8/0 seed beads, some 6mm pearls, Druks, gemstones, round beads, 4mm bicone. On this one, I used a round bead, a turquoise bead, 11/0 seed beads. You need a 3mm fire polished bead or some sort of 3mm, and we're going to put that right on the inside edge. It's going to help make the necklace curve. So it's going to go here. One strand from the dollar bead bag is plenty. You don't need any more than that. In fact, you don't even need all of that. I have a little fold over magnetic clasp. Just for those of you who haven't seen the other video where I talked about the clasps here, this one, I'll link them below. This one's really good. This one, while it's beautiful and chunky and I love it, I ordered several of them, and some of them weren't in that great condition. The magnets had fallen out, or the crystal was out, or one of the hinges didn't work. So I just say, if you want this clasp, just sort of buyer beware. Just make sure that to be prepared for maybe they're not going to be perfect. Other people have purchased them and they were perfect. So just wanted to throw that out there. Size 10 beading needle. I have a stop bead, Wildfire beading thread. I'm using the gray. I'm loving this lately. You can use Fireline. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Links to the mats, all materials are in the description box below the video. Sizes, shapes, everything you need is under there. So don't forget to click the down arrow or the show more. The box will open and all that great information will be there for you. All right, I'm going to clear this off and we're going to get started. Okay, let's get started. So thread your needle with about 5 or 6 feet of thread, put on a stop bead, and leave about a 14 inch tail. You can use that tail to sew on your clasp. So I've picked up and I've put on my needle and dropped down to my stop bead 4 8/0s, a 6mm, an 8/0, a 6mm, an 8/0, and a 6mm. Drop those down to my stop bead like that. Now I'm going to sew those into a circle by sewing through those first 4 beads after the stop bead, like that, through the next 6mm and 8/0, like that. This is what I have. I'm going to pick up 6 8/0s. I'm going to sew. I'm exiting this 8/0. I'm just going to sew through this one and the pearl. And I'm going to continue around through those 4 8/0s, through this pearl, and the next 5 8/0s. Okay, this is what we have so far. So get that done and then we'll continue. Okay. So we are exiting this seed bead, so the 5th seed bead right there. I'm going to pick up an 8/0, a 6mm, an 8/0, a 6, an 8/0, a 6, and 11/0. That's what I have. Exiting here, I'm just going to go through the one above it and the one I'm exiting. So those two right there. Notice how that little 11/0 is going to sit up at the top there. So here, this is what that looks like. Okay, so that little 11/0 right there is always going to be on one edge, always on the top edge. That's how it's going to start to curve. That's part of our curve there. So you see how an 11/0 pulls it in? So if the 8/0 was there, it would be more straight. The 11/0 will pull it in and it'll start to curve. So we're always going to make sure that there's an 11/0 right here. So I'm exiting this 8/0. I'm just going to sew around to the next, through the next 8/0, the 6mm, and the next 8/0. Just put your thumb on it to keep it tight. We're going to be going through these beads a lot, so I'm not too worried about that. Pick up 6 of your 8/0s. Exiting here, sew through this one, the next 6mm, the 11/0, keep going around through the 2 8/0s, through the next 8/0 and the next 8/0, the 6mm, and the next 5 seed beads. So here, like that. Okay, so now, remember we always want to keep an 11/0 up here. So I'm going to pick up an 11/0, a 6mm, an 8/0, a 6, an 8/0, a 6mm, and an 8/0. So I've picked up, first is my 11/0, 6mm, 8/0, 6mm, 8/0, 6mm, 8/0. Exiting here, I'm going to go down to this one and sew through the next one and the one that I'm exiting from. So those two right there. And that's going to place my 11/0 back at the top again. So you're always going to be conscious and aware of where you're placing your 11/0 and make sure that it's up at the top. Or be mindful. I guess you have to be conscious too. All right. So here, so I've come through this, through this 6mm and the 8/0. I'm going to pick up 6 of my 8/0s. I'm going to surround the pearl by going through the next 8/0, pearl 8/0, up through these, going all the way around again, and tightening as I go, through the 11/0, the 6mm, and the next 5 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Okay? I'll do it one more time. Pick up an 8/0. Come here, you guys. A 6mm, an 8/0, a 6mm, an 8/0, a 6mm, and an 11/0. That's what I have. Exiting here, just going to sew through the one above and then the one I'm exiting from. See how I'm keeping my 11/0 at the top. Going to sew through the next 8/0, 6mm 8/0. Pick up 6 of your 8/0s. Exiting here, sew through the 8/0 on the other side, the 6mm and the 11/0. Down through these two. Back through everybody and all the beads until you come out of the 5th bead of this group of seed beads. So there we go. All right. So here we are. This is how we're going to make the necklace. So you're going to just do this all the way down. And remember, you're always going to make sure the way you put your beads on that you are going to have an 11-0 at the top at all times. If you make a mistake, take it out and do it again. Because you don't want the 11-0s down here. You want them on the inside curve of the necklace. You don't even see them. It's just going to help your necklace curve. All right, so do that all the way down until you are done with your necklace length minus your clasp, and then come on back and we'll continue. See you in a few. Okay, we're back. So I have all my units on and I'm ready to put one end of the clasp on. I think it's just easier to do it at this point. You can always put it on at the end if you like. So just to give you an idea of how many units I used, my necklace actually is 17 inches without the clasp, so it's about 18.5 with the clasp. This one's going to be a little bit smaller, so it'll be about 17, it'll be close to 18 with this clasp. With the bigger one, it's more like 18.5. I made 29 units, so if you consider each one of these this 3-bead unit a unit, there are 29 units on here. All right? Okay, so now I'm going to push that aside. And I'm exiting number 5 bead of my last unit. So I'm going to put my clasp on and just make sure I made sure that all my 11-0s are at the top. If you missed one in the middle somewhere, and here I actually added thread sort of right in the center. All right, so coming out of bead number 5, give it a little pull. Here's one end of my clasp. I'm going to pick up an 8-0. I'm going to sew, so the clasp has 3 holes right here. I'm just going to sew through the end one of this one on this side, like that. Now I'm just going to turn it over because it's easier for me to show you in the back. I'm going to pick up 3, let's see, will I use 3 there? Maybe 4. 11-0s. The bigger clasp uses 4, so let's see if 4 fits here. And then I'm just going to go through, I'm going to forget the middle hole and I'm just going to go through the hole at the other end. See that? And then I'm going to pick up an 8-0 and sew through the 2 beads in the middle. So this one where my thread is coming out and the one underneath it. Like that. That's perfect. Now I'm just going to reinforce the clasp, and you want to do this, I think I did it 3 times on my other necklace, and I'll do it 3 times on this, being that I'm actually making a complete necklace with you today. So just sewing through all the beads again, going around. You know, it's a pretty chunky necklace, so I think 3 passes will be just perfect. Just going through all the beads. I mean, they start getting tight in there, so but just like that. Pulling as I go through the hole, through the 8-0, underneath it, across, like that. All right, so now I'm going to turn it around on the front, just making sure all my beads are in place. All right, so just get to that point and then come on back and we'll start embellishing. Okay, so let's get started embellishing. So here are my 4mm Bicones and my 11-0s, and these are that turquoise AB2X. They're just so gorgeous. I mean, I just love them. They look like they have little lights inside them. All right, so I have thread left over and I'm going to continue using it. You can add a thread if you like, if you don't have enough thread, but I'm just going to keep going. So I'm exiting these 2 beads right here after I put my clasp on. So I'm going to sew through the next 3 and the 6mm. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, a bicone, and an 11-0. I'm just going to skip over to the other 6mm. Let me just get my needle in. and sew through that one and the 8/0 above it. See how that pops that on? Now I'm going to sew through the pearl here, the 6mm, and down through the next 8/0 and the next 6. Now for this, I'm going to actually do all the embellishing as I go. I think on the bracelet I did one embellishment, then I went back and did the other. So let's just switch that. So I'm going to pick up 7 11/0s. I think that's what I did, I don't remember. Okay, so 7 11/0s. Exiting here. So I'm exiting that 6mm. On the bottom here, I'm just going to sew through the 6mm right here from the top down. Let's see if I can get my needle in there first, and I'll move my finger. Come here, you. Okay, there we go. So I'm going through, so I'm exiting this 6, going through this 6mm, just the 6mm, like that, from the top down, and I'm making sure that that line of beads kind of sits below this 11/0 bicone 11/0. So you see, so it puts it on diagonally, and I'm making sure that my thread is coming out from under where this unit is here. Now I'm going to pick up 3 11/0s. I'm going to find bead number 4 of the 7 I put on. 1, 2, 3, here's 4, and I'm going to sew through it. There we go. I can do this. There we go. So bead number 4. Like that. And don't worry about if it seems a little wonky at the moment. It'll get better. Pick up 3 11/0s. Sew through this 6mm on the other side. And you can go down through the 8/0 underneath it as well. And when I pull, see how it straightens out? Okay, so I'm coming out of the 8/0 that's underneath that pearl. I'm just going to sew through just these 2 8/0s, not the 11/0, just the 2 8/0s, like that. So I'm just going to let you get that one unit embellished, and then come back and we'll do a few more together. Let's do that again. So I'm exiting these 2 center beads here. Just going to sew through these 3 and the 6mm. I'm going to pick up an 11/0, a bicone, and an 11/0, sewing up through this one and the 8/0 above it, just to place that on, going across this pearl, down this one, the 8/0 and this 6mm. So kind of going in a circle, making sure my thread is in back of, coming out from underneath where this 11/0 bicone 11/0 is. 7 of your 11/0s. Just going to sew down the pearl on the other side, just the pearl. So we're coming out of the bottom of this pearl, but going through the top of this pearl on the other side. Just making it go on the diagonal. Just make sure that your threads are wrapping around, but you're not in front of the, you're not like there. You're not like at the edge of this guy. What am I trying to say? There we go. I want to just make sure this 11/0 bicone 11/0 is sort of on the outside. Pick up 3 11/0s. Find bead number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go through. Three 11/0s. Go through this 6. And you can go through the 11/0 under that 6, the 6mm, and now you have another unit embellished. Should we do it one more time? Let me just fixing my needle. It's bending slightly. Sometimes these pony beading needles are soft, really soft, and sometimes they're a little bit harder, but these particular ones are bending quite easily. So I'm coming out of the 11, I'm just going to go through these 2, down these 3, and the 6mm. Going to pick up an 11/0 bicone, 11/0 up through this 6 and the 8/0 above it, across, down the 8/0 and the 6mm. Pick up 7 of your 11/0s, exiting the bottom here, so through the top of the pearl on the other side, just the pearl. Make sure your thread is, and your beads are sort of underneath these, the 11/0 bicone. 11/0, pulling my thread this way a little bit. Pick up 3 11/0s. Find bead number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go through it. Pick up 3 11/0s. Go down through this pearl, the bead under it, if you can get it. If not, just do it after. So here, the 8/0, across. Now you have another unit embellished. Now you're just going to sew through the next 3 8/0s and the pearl, and then you're just going to repeat that all the way down. Oh, I'm going to love this as a necklace. This is really going to be pretty. All right, so then just do that all the way down throughout your whole necklace. Seems like it takes a long time. It takes much longer when I'm showing you. As you're doing it and you can hold it differently and comfortably, it goes really fast. All right, so get that done and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're coming down to the very last unit, and I want to put that one on with you. So just a note, when I was going through the area of my necklace where I had added thread, and you know when you add thread, you're going to be doubling all the thread that you're going through. So I had to switch to a size 12 beading needle there, just because these pearls have a little smaller hole than maybe a gemstone. But then I switched back after a couple of units. So, you know, just have your 12 handy. So I want to show you how to get the last unit on. So right here, this is where my tail thread is coming out. I think your tail thread will be coming out right before the pearl. I just took my needle and I went around until I was coming out of the 2 middle 8/0s, because that's where we're going to add the clasp. So you can do that now or you can do that later. So here's the thread that I'm using to embellish. So I'm at this point where I'm coming out of the pearl. So I'm going to pick up my 11/0 bicone, 11/0, and I'm just going to do that embellishment. So I'm just coming straight across through the pearl and the 8/0 above it. And this is just where I want you to make sure that you push that 11/0 bicone 11/0 in front of these 4 beads. So you see how it's sticking up like that, the 2 in the middle. So just kind of maneuver it so that's happening. Then I'm just going to go through the pearl. I'm going to come back out this pearl. Okay, so now I'm going to add my 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11/0s. I'm going to sew back up through this pearl, like that. So it's just a matter of maneuvering around, just like you've been doing, making sure all the beads are sitting in the proper place. So here I want to make sure these are out a bit and this is sort of under, you know, the 7 are sort of under. Then I'm going to pull my thread this way so I can add the cross piece, cross beads. So 3 11-0s. Find your, I'm just going to move it around this way a little bit, bead number 4. Can you see that? Yes, 1, 2, 3. Here's bead number 4. Going through like that. And I'm running out of thread. 3 11-0s back up through the purl, and that the 8-0 above it, just to place those beads on. And you see how mine fell through a little bit? I'm just going to pull those up with my needle, and when I pull everybody else, they'll pop up in front. So just like that. And then you can go across and go down. And if you want to tie this thread off, go through these beads, go through the purl, come down through this purl and tie your thread off on the bottom here, not the part that has the 11-0s, because this part's going around your neck and we're going to put a thread there. So I just want to make sure that, you know, it's not going to get too tight. So go around, come down this way, and sew it, tie off anywhere along the bottom. All right, so I just wanted you to get to that point. So get that done and then come on back and we'll put the clasp on and the last thread. All right, see you in a few. Okay, let's get the other end of the clasp on. So here I'm coming out of this bead right here of these two, so those two center beads. So like I said previously, if you're not, move your thread so you're exiting here. So I'm going to pick up an 8-0, going to sew through one of the holes on the other end of my clasp. I'm just going to turn it over now because it's easier to do it from the back. Going to pick up 4 11-0s. I'm going to sew through the other hole. Like that. I'm going to pick up an 8-0 and sew through these two. So back through the 2. Just to add the clasp on. Alright, then you're just going to reinforce by going around all your beads. Like that, and I would do it a total of 3 times, and then again sew your thread in on the bottom of the necklace, so the part that doesn't have here, so the part that doesn't have the 11-0, because we want to add a thread on the 11-0. So you're gonna be sewing it, you know, on the other side. So do that, get that done, tie in your thread, and then come on back, and we'll finish the last part of the necklace. Okay, we're back, and we're almost done. So thread your needle with, you know, a few feet of thread, put on a stop bead and leave enough of a tail to sew in, and find the side of your necklace. Of course, I haven't sewn all my threads in yet. That has the 11-0. So you see, that's where, see where the 11-0s are. You can hardly see them right there. So I'm just going to start from the other side. I'm going to come through this end. So coming up, so my stop bead is going to be right there. And I'm going to go across these 3 and through the 6mm. That's before the 11-0. That's just placing my thread. And then here are my 3mm fire polish beads. Now just a note here, if a 3mm doesn't fit or doesn't curve the way you like it, use a 2mm, add a seed bead. You know, you can adjust this here. So I'm coming out of the purl, not the 11-0, the purl. I'm just going to sew through, I'm going to skip this 11-0 and the 8-0. I'm going to sew through these 2 8-0s and the next purl. I thought it would be pretty to put a pretty blue one on. I'm going to do that again. 3mm, skip the 11-0, this 8-0, go through these 2 8-0s, and the purl, and give it a pull. And mine's starting to curve already, but if it's not curving enough for you, then try a 2mm or try an 8-0. Coming out of the purl, skip the 11-0, this 8-0, go through these 2 8-0s and the purl. I'll do a few more with you just to make sure. Curving nicely, exiting here, skip the 11-0, 1-8-0, go through the next two 8-0s and the pearl. So when I hold it like this, see how it's already starting to curve? Go a little further. And I'm giving it a little pull. This is a tight necklace, like substantial. Do you know what I mean? It's going to hold its shape. It's not going to be relying on your neck to hold the shape. It's going to hold the shape itself. That's why you want to make sure that you're curving nicely. So see how nice that curves and kind of puffs up a little bit? I love it. And I think I love the blue as well. So get that all done and then come on back and we'll finish up. Okay, so we're done and here are the necklaces. So just make sure after you've done this interior part with your 3mm that you sew all your threads in, and sew them in on the bottom. I think is probably the easiest place to sew them in. I love the blue of the fire polish on this one. I love the Red Jasper. They both fall beautifully on the neck. They're about 17.5, 18 inches around. It seems to be a really, really good fit. Just check it on your neck, see how it's falling as you put this last round on and pull them in. I think you're really going to enjoy this necklace. All right, so thank you again for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.